And we welcome you to Southwestern College. DeVore Stadium is the scene tonight as Golden West wraps up its regular season, the second of two games down here in San Diego County, or the first of two games down here in San Diego County to wrap up the regular season. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn. And folks, must win gets thrown around pretty often. Tonight is a must win for the Rustlers. Rustlers won the kickoff and elected to defer to the second half, so it will be Fisher putting it on the tee. Toe hits ball, line drive taken at the 20-yard line, and we are underway here at Southwestern. The kick is taken by Marcus Turner, and he's able to get it across the 35, and he's down out of bounds at the 36-yard line. This is a Southwestern team, 5-3 on the season, 1-2 in Southern League play, just moved up from the American Division, and what a time it has been to be a Jaguar. They have made the transition quite seamlessly, led by quarterback DeMonte Morris, 6'3", 185-pound sophomore out of St. Louis, Missouri, wearing uniform number 23. They start out of the gun. 4 wide receivers for Morris to start this drive. Play fake, they deliver it here to the near side, and that pass is caught, and a nice little catch after the run across the 40-yard line by Josh Mason, one of the backup wide receiver, 6'1", 175-pound sophomore from right here in San Diego. No huddle as they try to go. 6-yard pickup there. Brings up a second down and 4 from the 42. They go with the run and nowhere to roll for Morris, as the green-clad Rustlers are there, led by Wolf Retzlaff, to make the stop. There's a flag on the play, however. Penalty is an offside charge against Gold West, and so a 5-yard penalty makes it a first down. Be 1st and 10 for the Jaguars from their own 47. Quick pass out near side and incomplete. Went right in and out of the hands of the intended wideout and Andre Randolph.
And Rahshaun, you look at this Golden West team, I mean, you talk about a must-win. Last week they stumbled against Saddleback in a game where they really had a chance to possibly take away and steal one from the Gauchos.
There's Terrell Johnson getting the carry off the left side, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Up front for the Rustlers, Stephen Cruz, VJ Malo, Paka Kakakulidis, and Kevin Miminger. Linebackers Wolf Retzlaff, David Aldapa. Here's the third down play. Morris escapes one, throws it low. Pass is incomplete. Intended wide receiver was Jesse Leosow. And so the Rustlers force a punt here on the opening drive. So enter one of the top punters in the Southern California Football Association, San Diego State commit Jaime Medina. Just a freshman. It's not often you hear coaches reap high praise on their kickers, but Eric Carberry couldn't say enough good things about Jaime Medina. He gets this one off, and it takes a Jaguar roll inside the 10, rolls all the way down to the 5-yard line. Rustlers are saying it was touched by a Jaguar.
And that'll go down as a 48-yard punt.
So let's see where they spot this one. Yeah, they moved the ball up, so it was touched by one of the Southwestern special teams players. So the Rustlers, instead of starting on their own 5, will start it at their own 18-yard line. Rustlers wearing the green on the road for the first time this season. There was some chatter pregame about that. The rule is there has to be contrasting colors. So Golden West not necessarily in the wrong for wearing a darker colored uniform or a non-white uniform on the road. No Roman Neomato tonight on the offensive line. So Jacob Beckler back in there at center as Kalbacher takes the snap. First play looking to go deep. Has Mouton at the 45-yard line across midfield. Braylon Mouton, welcome back to the lineup. Inside of Southwestern territory and down at the Jaguar 46-yard line.
Devin Washington finally hauls him down. Gets to him around the 50.
Pickup of 36 yards on the play. And back come the Rustlers. Here's a run by Maxwell. Getting skinny through the hole up to the 40-yard line. Pickup of 7 there. Brings up a second down and 3.
Isaac Wright with the tackle.
Second and 3 at the 40-yard line. Kalbacher with 4 wide receivers. The back is Valdez. Kalbacher. Atencio. He catches it near a first down. But the tackle is made there. We got a flag on the play also. It's a stop that there made by Jalen Portis. It's going to be a hold against Golden West. Up front, Adrian Montez, Kobe Clayton, Jacob Beckler, Genesis Ofagalilo, and Spencer Blake on the offensive line. Braylon Mouton missed the last couple of games. Back in the lineup here tonight and just had that big catch to start this drive for the Rustlers. Ratzliff, along with Sashi Penn, David Atencio. The defensive line for Southwestern is a good one. We'll get to them in one moment. Ball at midfield, second down and 14. Kalbacher. And try to set up a screen there, and nothing doing. Brings up a second down.
One thing, if you're Golden West, you want to absolutely try your best to get a quick strike into the end zone, score first, because you look at Golden West setting the tempo and scoring first in each of their ball games. They have a winning record.
Quentin Moses, Dalen Moses done. The ends, Andrew Shasha and Jenkin Altele, the tackles on that front four for Southwestern. There's a pass caught by Atencio. First down and more at the 35-yard line. Rustlers needed 14. They ended up getting 16 there. And another first down here on this drive. So big third down pickup for the Rustlers. Rustlers completing 42% of their third down conversions on the year.
One thing you love about that scramble there by Kalbacher is his field awareness. As he's moving around outside of the pocket, he still keeps his eyes downfield, waiting for a receiver to open up. And as soon as Atencio had a little bit of daylight, he tossed it right in there.
First and 10 from the 35. Kalbacher going up top and right off the fingertips of the outstretched Mouton. Coverage on the play there by Devin Washington, the freshman out of Jacksonville. No Cameron Hansen on there. We see him out there now. Hansen, one of the top linebackers on this team, one of the leaders of this team at a linebacker. Noah Berry as well. In the secondary, you got Devin Washington and Angelo Trujillo. The corners and the safeties, a couple of good ones. Logan Darby and Isaac Wright, freshman out of right here in San Diego, St. Augustine High School. Second and 10 from the 35. Kalbacher scrambling. Kalbacher with room. Bo at the 30. Bo near the sticks. Reaches for a first down, and I think he got it right there at the 25-yard line.
Just as we were talking about moments ago, that field awareness, you see him as he's rolling out towards his right. He's still looking downfield for an open wide receiver, but once he realizes that there's just no one within 15 yards of him. He's able to scamper upfield. You like the awareness that Bo Kalbacher has here in this first quarter.
10:52 left in this first quarter. 1st and 10, Rustlers at the Southwestern 25-yard line. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn here on SportsNetUSA.net. And just 1 second left on the play clock. Kalbacher smartly calls for time, and he gets it with 10:42 left. And while we have a moment, let's remind you that Golden West Rustler football on SportsNetUSA.net is brought to you in part by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Located at the 91 and Euclid, and on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. Kalbacher, a couple big-time throws here. 2 for 4, 52 yards in the early going for Bo. Also a 10-yard scamper. So you look at Kalbacher, and he's got 62 of the 69 yards here for the Rustlers on this drive. This drive started back at the Rustler 18-yard line. Important that they strike first, as Ryan Osborn just mentioned. 1st and 10 from the 25. Kalbacher scrambling, throwing on the run, looking end zone, and picked off. That's what they do.
It is Devin Washington who comes away with that interception. Just able to toe tap his right foot in bounds before he gets carried out. So it's an impressive interception, but for Golden West, it's kind of a killer to be able to see that great drive that you put together from your own or inside your own 20-yard line and march it all the way down to nearly inside the 20 of Southwestern just to see it go away on a turnover.
That is the 14th interception of the season for this Southwestern defense. They take the ball away. That's what they do defensively, and they start option on 1st and 10 from the 20, and it's a 1-yard pickup. Those 13 interceptions entering tonight were tied for second in the Southern League, but they turn you over. They get interceptions. They get fumble recoveries. 14 of those, which is first in the Southern Conference. 2nd down and 9, after that 1-yard pickup. Morris rolling, throwing, has a man wide open at the 25-yard line. And up to the 31, and enough for a 1st down for Leasau. 10-yard pickup there. And a 1st down for Southwestern.
He finally ends up getting stopped by Ryan Raines. And Austin Kramer as well.
They go to the ground one more time, and maybe a 1-yard pickup there. David Aldapa in there on the stop. Also, JP Justin Parker, who's played really well as of late. Kind of refocused, kind of recommitted himself to the game of football. Started taking it a little bit more seriously. Of course, an immense amount of talent, but wasn't always locked in. We've seen the results of him being locked in here over the last couple of weeks. 2nd and 9. They throw it in the flat, pass caught. And Cruz doing a nice job coming from behind to chase that one down. The reception made there by Sean Davey. Another 1-yard pickup. So they're dinking and dunking. But Rustlers able to hold them from getting a lot.
And interestingly enough, we still have yet to see the biggest offensive star for Southwestern in DeAndre Daniels.
Here's Morris, escapes one, throws on the run, and incomplete. That was Howard he was looking for over the middle. That ball thrown just behind him is going to bring up a 4th down. So the interception in the end zone doesn't harm the Rustlers, but still somewhat of a momentum killer after you put together such a good drive. And that's one thing that was a point of emphasis coming into tonight's game for Bo Kalbacher and the rest of the offense. Do not turn the ball over. They survived that one. And this one nearly blocked. And a booming kick there by Medina. Tintio unable to make a guy miss. And nice job on the special teams by Southwestern. 28-yard line is where the Rustlers will start this next drive. As the sun has set here in San Diego. Under the lights, Rahshaun Haylock and Ryan Osborn here with you. I love San Diego, Ryan. It's the second of 3 trips down here this year. I remember talking to Coach Mitchell prior to the season saying, I don't think the schedulers did you any favors. Play fake, Kalbacher over the middle, caught Braylon Mouton. Shoestring tackle made there at the 40-yard line, but enough for a first down, a pickup of 12 as the Texas connection continues here. Hook up for the second time tonight. Mouton back in the lineup, 48 yards receiving here in this first quarter. We got 7:45 to play. 1st and 10 from the Rustler 40-yard line. We've seen Maxwell in the backfield quite a bit tonight. Not this time. That's Valdez. Instead, though, the pass goes out to Mouton, and Mouton a stiff arm before being pushed out of bounds there by Washington. But another first down up to the 46-yard line. 13-yard pickup and another first down for the Rustlers.
And all season long, Rahshaun, you've been talking about that Texas connection. Well, this afternoon, both Kalbacher and Braylon Mouton just look in sync over these last 3 throws. Just
how cool is that, right? You got a little comfort zone, if you will, if you're Bo Kalbacher. And not to take anything away from Bo, had a phenomenal game last week, over 360 yards passing, but he sees 12 out there. I think he gets a little bit more comfortable. Quick pass out to Atencio. Has a nice block by Ratcliffe. Needs to do something with it. Cuts it inside at the 40 and down at the 39-yard line. 7 yards on the pickup. Brings up second down.
That's a great pickup there by Ratcliffe on the outside as he ends up sizing up Devin Washington and just locks him up right at the 40-yard line. Doesn't allow him to get anywhere and allows for Atencio to move an additional 5 yards upfield.
This is an aggressive, opportunistic defense for Southwestern. We saw them pick off Kalbacher on the last drive. See if the Rustlers can take care of the ball here. 2nd down and 3. Kalbacher, Ratcliffe, back shoulder, caught by Ben. Stiff form inside the 20-yard line and down at the 18. 20-yard pickup, first catch of the night for the San Diego native. And a first down for Golden West. Ed Carberry says, yeah, we know this Ratcliffe kid pretty good. We recruited him, wanted him to come here and play for us. Ben instead, after leaving USD, electing to go to play for Nick Mitchell in the Golden West Rustlers. And it's now 1st and 10, Golden West at the Jaguar 18-yard line. Stretch play. Valdez looking for a hole. Valdez trying to find the edge. Tavon still on his feet. And ran out of bounds near the 15-yard line. Wow. Actually mark him out at about the 17, so thought he squeaked out maybe 3, but ends up only being 1 there for Tavon. 2nd and 9 coming up. 5:27 left in this first quarter. Got to get some points here, Ryan Osborn. Huge. Sylvester in there in the backfield. 3 on the play clock. Kalbacher running and throwing on the run, and that's going to be Sylvester making the catch, but gets out of bounds. He may have gotten 1 there, RJ. Actually mark him down for a loss. So 3rd and 10 for the Rustlers from the 18. Kalbacher over 100 yards already passing here in this first quarter. Pressure coming. Kalbacher looking end zone, and there's a flag coming in as Mouton was held up over there by the cornerback Trujillo. They were playing man coverage, and Braylon Mouton asked for the flag, and he gets it.
And you can hear the players right underneath where our press box is, in addition to parents and fans here at Southwestern, calling for that one to be an uncatchable ball since it went out of the end zone.
Yeah, well, the other counter to that uncatchable thing that they're screaming here is Mouton couldn't get to it because he was held up. The flag is there. The boos are smattering here from the Southwestern contingent. A nice crowd here for the home team. There was a big tailgate prior to the game, and they welcomed outsiders as well, as Ryan Osborn and I got to indulge with some of the locals. 1st and goal from the 7. Kalbacher, back of the end zone, incomplete, looking for Mouton once again.
The Associated Student Body kind of holding that tailgate that you were talking about earlier. Anyone who came in with a ticket or that was part of the game presentation today got free food.
Yeah. Fans included, yeah, everybody. So 2nd goal from the 7. 2nd and goal from the 7. 4:13 left in this first quarter. 5 on the play clock as they get to the line of scrimmage. Kalbacher looking left, throwing that way, and well over the head of Atencio. He had him. It was a nice concept there, called by John Shipp, but Kalbacher misfires there, brings up 3rd down. And Ratzliff run sort of an in, and Atencio ran an out. They kind of crisscross on this wide side of the field, but unable to hook up. 4:08 left in the first. Scoreless tie here. Kalbacher, 3rd and goal from the 7. End zone, caught. Ben Ratzliff, touchdown, Rustlers.
And you love the great double move there by Ben Ratzliff on the left-hand side of the field. He ends up going up against Washington once again, and all he does is fake his way back towards the middle. Washington bites hard on it. And all Ratzliff had to do was just turn around, size up the football, present a target. And he caught it with both hands, jumped into the end zone, and quickly it's 6-0 Golden West.
There's a lefty, Jose Arredondo, for the point after, and it's good. So 4:03 left in the first. Golden West strikes first and leads 7-0 here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ben Ratzliff with the touchdown reception, his 6th of the year. Ratzliff, 2nd in the Southern Conference in touchdown receptions. I beg your pardon, that's now number 8 for him on the season. And for Bo Kalbacher, that's touchdown pass number 15. So Fisher will put it on the tee. There's a number 8 in, what do you call these jerseys, maroon, burgundy?
Yeah, I'd say burgundy's right around there.
Anyways, you don't want him touching the ball on a kickoff. And the Rustlers kick it in that direction, but it's Davey instead, and Davey with the wall. Davey around the edge, and he's tackled at the 40-yard line out of bounds. Nice job there by Sayo Amor on the special teams for the Rustlers. Southwestern will start this drive at the 41-yard line. They got Davey in there at a quarterback. And he takes the snap and goes off the left side. Tackled there by Justin Parker, but there's a flag on the play. Our white hat tonight, Mike Davis. He'll sort things out for us. And they wave the flag. So Ed Carberry thought it might have been against his team. And the officials initially, I think they were going to go that direction. Some sort of an alignment penalty against the Jaguars, but instead they wave it off. So Davey with the 4-yard carry. It stands, and it's 2nd and 6 now from the 45-yard line. Calls for Howard to come in motion. Fakes the end around again, but this time DJ Malo is there. Whoa, a late hit by the Rustlers. Look out. Kramer came in there late. Didn't see if he got pushed or not, but it's dangerous there by Austin. They want to pick up a flag there. This penalty, however, looks like it's going to go against Southwestern. So an illegal formation against Southwestern. Rustlers decline it. Third and 6. Davey's been in there, a wildcat basically, for this entire drive. And he stays in there now. On 3rd and 6 from the 45. And timeout comes from Ed Carberry. There's a lot of moving, a lot of shucking and jiving and shuffling, and Davey trying to point out instructions. And Coach Carberry says, hold on, let's talk about this. So first charge timeout against the Jaguars. It comes with 3:17 left in this quarter. Ed Carberry in his 12th season here at the helm of Southwestern was previously the head coach at Mount San Jacinto Junior College for 3 years. Also has some Orange County ties. He was a head coach at Tustin High School as well. 39 years in the game. Talked to him for a little bit yesterday. He was gracious enough with his time. Mentioned how he's been doing this for a long time. He's run around a lot of players and seen a lot of players, seen a lot of things. But he had some great words to say about Nick Mitchell and remembers when they used to be in the same conference back in the American Division. Prior to Golden West moving up. But he has some interesting things to say about the alignment as well. Obviously it's split in national and American, so you got an upper division and lower division. He kind of quoted James Franklin, I believe it was James Franklin, in the thought process being you got elite teams, you got good teams, and then you got, you know, your not so good teams. Here's Morris back in there, quarterback on 3rd and 6. Morris scrambling, Morris throwing on the run, caught by Davey. So Davey gets out of the backfield, runs a route, catches a pass, enough for a first down. They needed 6, they get 9. And Southwestern inside of Rustler territory for the first time tonight. Second catch of the night for Davey.
When you talk about those divisions, it really does allow some teams to just kind of regroup before they go back up to the national, and it also separates the teams that are really looking for a more competitive balance.
On the run, Morris pass caught. Oh, but the ball's out. Ball is out. Ryan Raines poked that one away, and it looks like the Rustlers were able to fall on top of it. Austin Kramer comes away with the fumble. And it'll be Golden West football. So that pass was completed to Randolph, but Raines with the forced fumble.
And you just kind of track it back in your head there, Rahshaun. You look at Randolph as he's running upfield. He kind of had that little chicken wing going for a second, and then Ryan Raines comes from behind and punches it out.
So here's Kalbacher on first down, and this one nearly picked off as Jonathan Earl, the intended wide receiver, and that was close. It seemed like as soon as Earl got there, Washington got there as well. Could have easily went the other way in favor of the Rustlers. Instead, it will be a 2nd down and 10. This drive starting for the Rustlers at their own 26-yard line. Nice job by Raines there. It's the turnover battle now even, in case you're scoring at home. Kalbacher looking and throwing to Atencio. Nice block. Atencio tiptoeing the sideline, and let's see where they spot him. Think he got enough for the first down. He gets right to the sticks. 10-yard pickup and a first down for the Rustlers. So 4 different Rustlers have caught a pass here in this first quarter as we approach 2 to play. And Kalbacher seemingly picking up where he left off a week ago against Saddleback. A winnable game for these Rustlers. Kalbacher 361 through the air, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They go option. Here's the pitch to the long side of the field and unable to get anywhere. It's Swain. Southwestern thought they poked that ball out, but officials say that Swain was down, and Swain remains down now. He's just banged up. And there was no gain on that run. Somewhat of an unorthodox fall there by Swain as he got tackled. Kind of fell very awkwardly. And clearly favoring his right arm. Looks like he may be trying to get the feeling back in it. Able to walk off under his own power, but not sure how that arm is doing, obviously. So we're looking at a 2nd and 10 for the Rustlers from the 36-yard line. Could be a better start for the Rustlers, but don't know if you can complain too much about the way this one has started on both sides of the ball. Obviously, I know the defense entering with a huge chip on its shoulder after giving up 500 yards last week. 2nd and 10 play from the 36-yard line. Bo looks at Tavon and whispers something in his ear. Takes the snap, pressure coming. Bo steps up. Bo tries to get away, but he's not. He can't. Delton Dimerson on the sack. 3rd and long coming up. And did I mention they sacked the quarterback too? 36 sacks on the year now for this Southwestern defense. That's 1st in the Southern Conference. You look at the numbers, it's just staggering. 2nd in the conference in points allowed per game defensively. 1st in yards allowed per game. 1st in pass yards allowed. 3rd in rush yards allowed. 1st in sacks, tied for 2nd in interceptions. 1st in fumble recoveries, and they also got 2 touchdowns. They try to set up a screen here on 3rd and long. Passes caught by Earl for a yard, but nothing else, and the punting unit will come on. Also 85 tackles for loss coming into tonight as well for this Southwestern Jaguar defense. So they get after it defensively and force a 4th down here. First catch of the night for Earl.
That's actually going to run us out to the end of the first quarter.
So that takes us to the end of the first. After one, it's Golden West 7, Southwestern nothing, as you're watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn coming to you from sunny San Diego. Not so sunny right now as the sun has set, but it was a gorgeous day on the drive down. I actually saw a little bit of fog on the way down as well, Ryan. I had never seen fog in the daytime. I was baffled. You had to tell me to keep my eyes on the road because I was just mesmerized by what was going on. But
and you talk about that. It kind of started setting in once we passed Del Mar.
yeah, it did. Famous racetrack, of course, is expecting us to run into a little bit more traffic there by Del Mar, but I guess they're closed right now. Today being such a big day in the horse racing world, Breeders' Cup today and yesterday. So a lot of the racetracks around the country really having, big festivals, festivities going on because of the Breeders' Cup. D'Angelo Howard will go back to receive this punt. He's got a punt return for a touchdown this season. That happened against Grossmont. He's also got a kick return for a touchdown this year. And this is a high, booming punt. Howard tries to run under it, but can't. And this one just dribbles out of bounds. Kick it away from 8. These were specific directions to the kicker/punter, Kenny Fisher. And he does just that. Ball gets out of bounds, and it'll be a first down for Southwestern as we flip fields to start this second quarter, and Southwestern will now be going to our left. 14:51 left here in this second quarter.
44-yard punt.
And talking to Nick Mitchell, asking him earlier today, who's kind of been maybe the biggest surprise of the season. He mentioned Kenny Fisher. And here's the run by Morris. And he keeps it and picks up 1. Across the 25-yard line and down at the 26. We got an injured Jaguar down on the field. But Fisher's a guy who really just kind of came on late, had a friend on the team and came out, and Rustlers ended up losing their kicker. And I mean, you talk about showing up at the last minute. He showed up, and in the punting game and on kickoffs, he really has been phenomenal this year for the Rustlers.
And it's hard for a punter specifically, it's hard for kickers, specifically punters, to just kind of step in there all of a sudden, because they have to build chemistry with their long snappers. They have to build chemistry with their coverage teams and also pick up exactly what the playbook looks like as well. And for him to just kind of show up as late as he did and still be so successful for Golden West, that's something that is hard to achieve for anyone.
Yeah, Coach Mitchell was very commendable. I don't know if I've heard 2 coaches talk about 2 kickers as much as I've heard this week. And positively, obviously kickers get that rap in football. They're not football players, they're just kickers. Yada, yada, yada. You've heard it all at this point, but to hear how Coach Carberry spoke so glowingly of Medina and then to hear Coach Mitchell speak so highly of Fisher, it was pretty cool. Kickers are football players too. They need love too. The injured Jaguar is up and on his feet, and that's the center, Miguel Perez, the sophomore out of San Diego, able to walk off under his own power, but gets a nice ovation here, and he was down on the field for quite a bit. So that makes some things interesting now on that offensive line for Southwestern. You lose your starting center. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
And they're going to trot out Andres Lynch. You want to talk about a position that is really focused on timing. We were talking about the kickers just moments ago. The center has to be in absolute tune with his quarterback.
That's Lynch wearing number 55. First snap is a good one. Is Morris with the pass, but a nice job in the open field by JP. Justin Parker able to take down the receiver immediately. That was Mason making the catch. And it's a gain of about 3 there. Brings up a 3rd down and 6. Second catch of the night for Mason, but just 9 yards receiving. Here's a 3rd and 6 play. And incomplete. Some miscommunication there as that one sailed well over the head of Patton Hazuga. The intended wide out. I think Hazuga was running some sort of a comeback, and Morris threw it well over his head, expecting him to continue the route. So it brings up a 4th down. Atencio will go back to receive this punt from the leg of Medina. And play clock expires. Delay a game here against Southwestern.
And as a coach, that's something that just absolutely has to irritate you, because you're already in week 8. You've had spring ball, you've had training camp, you've had 8 weeks of football and a bye week. And when that clock runs out on a play clock, well, that's something that coaches are going to have a word about in practice.
Rustlers are getting close, but unable to get there. Atencio backpedals, catches it at the 25-yard line, makes a couple guys miss. Oh, Atencio with his dancing shoes across the 30 and down at the 32-yard line. I'd say that looked a little disastrous to begin with, but 7 was able to escape some danger there and pick up a few, and much better field position for the Rustlers to start this drive. So 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line, 13:32 left in this first half. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn from gorgeous DeVore Stadium here on the campus of Southwestern College in beautiful San Diego. First Saturday in November as this season is winding down. Kalbacher will start the drive out of the pistol. 1st and 10 from the 32. Stretch play gives it to Valdez, and that hole closed quickly. Let me tell you, Valdez looked like he had a crease there, but barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Ubaldo Torres there on the stop for Southwestern. I want to see Tavon break one. Valdez remember he had that good stretch in weeks 3 and 4 prior to the Canyons game. End around Sashi Penn, hood hanging from the back of his jersey, and gets to the line of scrimmage, loses one there. So it'll be a 3rd down and 10 from the 32. 12 and a half to play here in the second quarter. Valdez in the backfield with Kalbacher. 4 wide receivers. Atencio in the slot towards the bottom of your screen. Kalbacher throwing, has Earl, and incomplete. Not sure if that skipped in front of Earl or went off of his arm. Nonetheless, it's incomplete and a 3 and out for the Rustlers. So back comes Kenny Fisher with specific rules. Kick it away from 8. The dangerous D'Angelo Howard standing on his own 35-yard line to receive this one. Rugby style kick by Fisher, and he kicks it right to Howard. Howard makes one man miss, and oh, here he comes. 8 with a spin move. D'Angelo tries to get out of dodge, but Austin Kramer is there to make sure He doesn't get away, grabbed one ankle. Earl was able to grab the other, and a flag on the play. But just that quick second, you see the elusiveness there from Howard. I remember another D. Howard a little while ago that wore number 21 for Michigan. Wasn't named D'Angelo's name was Desmond, but oh, was he electric in the punt return game. As a kid, big-time Florida State fan, and I remember Florida State playing Michigan. Terrell Buckley was my favorite player. And Buckley lined up at corner against Desmond Howard. He was his Heisman candidate, and Buckley comes up with the pick six, takes it to the house as the flag is waved. And little Rahshaun was just geeked, I tell you. I was a fan of Howard, but I was a bigger fan of Buckley. He was my guy at Florida State. Loved that Florida State defense. Terrell Buckley, Derek Brooks. On the offensive side, you had Charlie Ward, Kes McCorvey, Tamarick Vanover. That's when I really got into the game of college football. Getting a little nostalgia up here, Ryan Osborn. Somebody stop me. New quarterback in the game now, and they go with the end around. Howard coming back to the other way. Howard around the edge, breaks one tackle and out of bounds near the sticks. Al Sherman tried to cut off the angle and did just well enough to keep that run at a minimum, and by minimum it's 9 as opposed to a whole lot more. You're talking 45, 55 plus, probably with a guy of Howard's speed.
Now into the game is Marcus Hernandez-Torres, 32 of 74 for 43%, 6'2" out of Chula Vista.
And a quick pass. And Southwestern into Golden West territory. So a change of pace here for Southwestern. 17-yard pickup. And they go back to the ground. Hernandez-Torres may be more of the thrower of the two, but talking to Coach Carberry, he says, look, we for a while now, we've gone with 2 quarterbacks. I like a guy that can run, and, of course, that guy is Morris. Hernandez-Torres can run also, and he's just, he said, we bring a guy in every now and then just in case something goes wrong. Here's a free play for Southwestern, and a nice job by Terrell Johnson getting shifty across the 20, taken down by Al Sherman there, but up to the 18-yard line. 17-yard pickup, a flag on the play, and it's going to be an offside against the Rustlers. So Hernandez-Torres providing somewhat of a spark here for these Jaguars offensively. 1st and 10 from the 18. They throw it quickly in the flat. Howard bottled up, and a nice job by the defense of the Rustlers. It was Paka Kakakulidis to get in there and force Howard to come back to the inside, and VJ Malo cleaned it up. It was a 2-yard loss on the play. It was the first catch of the night for Howard, if I'm not mistaken. 2nd and 12 from the 20, and that one well over the head of Johnson. He running a little angle route there and wasn't expecting the ball to come so soon. We have not seen DeMonte Morris. Or not DeMonte Morris, DeAndre Daniels, pardon me, the leading rusher on this team. It's been Terrell Johnson from the start here for Southwestern.
And one thing that's interesting about that is that DeAndre Daniels warmed up prior to the game.
Ball thrown in the flat, incomplete. Intended for Tyshee Dixon. And 4th down coming up, so Dixon will come in to attempt the field goal.
Daniels is actually just kind of standing and pumping up his teammates on the near side of the field.
You see, I don't see him.
He's right over there next to the head coach. Just kind of standing, facing towards us, and now facing the field.
There's a left-footed kick by Medina, and it is good. That one from 37. And so Southwestern gets on the board. 7-3 our score here, 9:48 to play in this first half. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn. Hernandez-Torres giving them a little bit of a boost there, providing a little bit of spark for this Jaguar defense, but the Rustler defense holds.
Well, and when you look at that Rustler defense, you were noticing that VJ Malo was kind of dropping back into coverage, trying to cover all these guys who were cutting right across the field. And one of them being Howard, who came away with 2 catches. But as those linebackers are taking a step back, it's opening things up for Hernandez-Torres to look upfield. Something that Morris, when he's in the football game, Golden West has to more act as, or Golden West linebackers have to act more as spies and try to contain him in the pocket as much as possible. For Hernandez-Torres, he had all sorts of time just to stay in the pocket.
And if you're Nick Mitchell, I think you take your chances with the passing game. Neither of these quarterbacks completing a high percentage. Hernandez-Torres 43% entering the game. Morris 46% entering the game. And both of those guys can run. This kick goes into the back of the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Rustlers will have it 1st and 10 from the 25. But we've seen this before. I go back to Nick Mitchell, not the Rustlers head coach, but the Cerritos quarterback a couple of seasons ago. And bounced back from Oregon State, entered the game with just anemic numbers. Has the game of his life, leads the Falcons to a win at LaBarge Stadium. And that was an incredible moment against the Rustlers. You talk about games and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and ones that got away. So you can game plan a certain way, but you never know when a guy is going to have, when it's going to be a guy's night, as that pass is incomplete to Atencio. 2nd and 10.
Well, I mean, I don't think you have to look any further than week 2 of this season for Golden West, where we came down here to San Diego Mesa.
Familiar territory.
Golden West gets on the board first. They're looking good through that first half, and then all of a sudden Jake Dunninway turns into the starter for San Diego Mesa. He is actually taking control of that starting position and has led them throughout the season. Threw for over 300 yards in that game.
And his escapability was something too. Just couldn't track him. Rustlers were getting to him. Just couldn't get him down on the turf. Just couldn't track him. False start charge against the Rustlers. But yeah, I mean, and he wasn't even the starter. The starter, got knocked out the week before, and so you weren't sure whether he was going to play or not. All of a sudden, here's Dunninway, and you figure you like your chances with a backup quarterback, right? But not so much. That was a tough one to take. I think the post-game meal helped me out a lot that night. I don't know about you. 2nd and 15 from the 20. Kalbacher has Ratzliff. Ratzliff turns it up. And down at the 27-yard line. 7-yard pickup. 3rd and 8 coming up. Ratzliff with 3 catches now for 34 yards. 9:18 left in this second quarter. Wholesale changes for Southwestern defensively. On the line, Alexis Quinones and Ubaldo Torres re-enter the game. Big 3rd down here for the Rustlers. 3rd and 7 from their own 28-yard line. Kalbacher throws, hit as he throws. This one lofts up in the air and going to be intercepted. Kalbacher picked off for the 2nd time tonight. This time it was a safety, Logan Darby, for Southwestern. And the Jaguars will take over 1st down and 10 in their own zone. That's one maybe Bo could have ate. I mean, when you look at it, it's almost like a punt, a short punt at that. Kind of throws it up there, gives the guy a chance, but you like his toughness for trying to hang in there and deliver that football, but might be one you want to eat there if you're Bo. We'll see if Southwestern can take advantage. Hernandez-Torres flips it. Howard. And now he's going to reverse field. D'Angelo Howard. The elusive, electrifying Howard at the 30. And gets out of bounds at the 23-yard line. 30-yard pickup there for Howard. And a first down for Southwestern. Biggest play of the night for the Jaguars, and quickly they come. 1st and 10 from the 23. And Johnson escaped one in the backfield. Paca had him in the backfield, let him go, however, but Cruz is able to get there and finish him off. Loss of 3 on the play.
You want to talk about speed. This is a Southwestern squad just as a team. They are just able to run if given the chance.
They flip it, Johnson again, and Rustlers do a nice job of taking away the edge. David Aldapa pushes him out of bounds. And so Johnson picked up 2 there, with Southwestern still behind the sticks.
DeAndre Daniels still watching this football game.
The biggest wonder, we were down on the field prior to the game. We didn't get any word of it. 3rd and 11. Hernandez-Torres gets rid of it and incomplete right under the arms of Howard. Kramer helps him up in a nice show of sportsmanship, but that one incomplete. 4th and 11 coming up. 7:27 left in this second quarter.
For Howard, he loses his footing right at the 17-yard line before he turns to get that football. And by the time he actually does look upfield, that football is at his hands, and he couldn't adjust in time.
So Medina back for more. This one from 42 yards. Puts a boot to it. And Jaime Medina incomplete. No good. So wide right.
He is now 6 of 14 on field goals.
So the Rustlers once again able to be unscathed and survive a turnover. The second interception of the night for Kalbacher. Rustlers now losing the turnover battle, but no points off turnovers for the Jaguars. So Kalbacher will come back to work. 7:21 left in this first half. He has one back, and that is Dante Swain. Good to see him back in the game after leaving earlier. 1st and 10 from the 24. Swain second level, puts his head down and gets down at the 33-yard line. 8-yard pickup there for Dante. They give him 9 officially, so a 2nd and 1 coming up. Under 7 to play here in this second quarter. Swain behind Kalbacher in the pistol. Kalbacher pulls it. Bo slides for a first down. We saw him do that last week a couple of times. Gets just enough for a first down. They mark him at the 37-yard line. He picks up 3 there. So Bo with 2 runs tonight. Both of them have been for first downs. 1st and 10. 37-yard line for the Rustlers. 6:17 left in this first half. They go back to the ground. Bo pulls it again, and Bo gets down again at the 41-yard line. 4-yard pickup. 2nd and a long 6 coming up. First time tonight, Bo's rushed it and didn't get beyond the sticks, but a nice, smart play there by 14. Under 6 to play. Second and 6 from the 41. Kalbacher looking for Ratzliff, going up top. Ben unable to come down with it. Washington there on the coverage. Third down.
Ben's kind of shaking his head and nodding to himself because he knew that he had that one. It's just that the ball, once it goes into his hands, it hits the top of the helmet of Washington and then hits the floor. If it doesn't hit the helmet, he has a beautiful catch along the sideline.
Third and 6. Kalbacher hit as he throws and incomplete. He's looking for Maxwell. Maxwell wants a flag. Not going to get it. And fourth down coming up for the Rustlers.
He could hear the steps of Jalen Portis as he was kind of barreling his way into the pocket from his blind side.
Kalbacher now 1 for his last 6 for 7 yards and an interception. Nice kick by Fisher. Howard retreating, catches it at the 10. Nice halo set up there by the Rustlers, nowhere to run, and a big-time hit made there on the special teams by Golden West. That's Kramer again. And he's another guy Nick Mitchell pointed to in terms of just how good he's been this season. He said you can argue Kramer's been the MVP of this defense this year, especially of the secondary, without question of the secondary. It's kind of solidified that back four. Really one of the only free safety types this Rustler team has. Hernandez-Torres, and that one thrown too tall and well out of the grasp of the intended wide receiver.
Ryan
and that was that Kane there? Raines there on the coverage, but the intended wide receiver there was Cameron Kane.
That's something that Raines specialized in high school at Fullerton Union High School. He was terrific, him alongside Jonovan Smith. Both of them lining up at safety. They were one of the better duos in Orange County at picking those types of balls off, in which the quarterback lines up and tosses it downfield, making mistakes, and he just wasn't able to make him pay for it.
Timeout taken by Southwestern. It comes with 5:09 left in this first half. And while we have a moment, let's remind you that Golden West football right here on SportsNetUSA.net is brought to you in part by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Used car deals, new car deals. What kind of deal you want? Go ahead, reach out to them. They probably got it for you. Matter of fact, they do have it for you. Reach out to the fine folks at Miller Toyota of Anaheim, located at the 91 in Euclid, and also on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. You talk about Ryan Raines a moment ago. He's played a lot of Sam linebacker the last couple of years, but tonight inserted into that secondary as a safety, kind of going back to his natural position, if you will, and something that the Rustlers tinkering with a little bit this week after the back end just had its issues last week against Saddleback. Over 500 yards allowed as a defense last week against Saddleback, and just torched through the air. A lot of explosive plays given up. Here's Hernandez-Torres after the timeout. That one bounces. He was looking for Kane once again, and Kane upset as he gets up off the turf. Dove for that one. And Raines was there on the coverage once again. I'm not sure if he was mad because Raines came in there and touched him up a little bit, or if the ball was thrown too short. That's now the 5th straight incompletion for Hernandez-Torres. Making 6s. Oh, nearly picked off. Kramer had it in his hands. Saw nothing but turf in front of him as the ball hit the turf. Brings up a 4th down. Wow. So Hernandez-Torres, after completing his first 3 coming off the bench, has now thrown 6 straight incompletions. Rustlers could get some pretty good field position out of this one, as Medina will receive this snap from his own 1. And this one hit a mile high, and Atencio is hit before he even gets to it. Rustlers special teams unit unwisely touches that ball. Needed to just get away from that one, but Atencio was smacked there before he could even catch the ball. It was Will Haveard getting there too early. It's no doubt a kick-catch interference coming the way of the Rustlers. Coming up at the half, it'll be the Ryan Osborn Show. We'll take you through the SCFA, and also will reveal the latest installment of the SportsNetUSA.net Community College Football Poll. All of that coming up at the half. About 4:47 in game time away from that. "15-yard penalty against Southwestern. I had to not so gracefully pick up the slack last week in your absence, partner. I just want to apologize by doing an injustice to the halftime show. But you're back in the fold now, so I'm sure the fans at home will be glad about that. And it was just me by myself. No Ed Ford. He had bigger fish to fry last week. So I had to hold it down solo. It worked out all right. First and 10 Rustlers from the Southwestern 40-yard line. Bo pulls it again, and Bo slides at the 35. Kalbacher, a 5-yard run. And that's very, very sneakily, if that's a word, has been one of the key plays for the Rustlers here in this first half. Bo on the quarterback keepers, on the zone reads.
In the famous words of Corey Nayland, that's a slivery play.
It's very slivery.
As he goes out to that right side, you also look at the Southwestern linebackers. They're committing hard to that initial handoff, and it's opening up Bo for as much running room as he wants down the middle.
And no one thinks 14 is going to run. High snap, and Swain gets it, spins right into a sea of maroon. Tackle on the play made by Nick Bailey, freshman out of St. George, Utah. No gain there. 3rd and 5 coming up. So Swain still in there in the backfield. 5 on the play clock. Calling it a 3rd and 4. Kalbacher. And him and Atencio can't connect there. 4th down.
It looked like Atencio just kind of got twisted up as he ended up looking for that football. Thought it was going to lead him more towards the sideline, but instead it goes back shoulder, and he has to turn around across his body to make that catch.
I hate to say it, Ryan Osborn, but it's a little reminiscent of Mesa. A little bit. Just with the chances and the opportunities given to increase the lead and Rustlers not able to take advantage of him. Big fourth down here, 4th and 4 from the 34. Kalbacher steps up, too tall for his intended receiver, Ben Ratzliff. Trujillo there on the coverage and a turnover on downs. Five straight incompletions for Kalbacher. Hernandez-Torres will lead the Jaguar offense onto the field. Started 3 for 3, but he's now 3 of 9 for 32 yards. He's thrown 6 straight incompletions. So we've seen 11 straight incompletions there, and that stops the streak there. There's Howard making the catch, and Kramer wraps him up and throws him to the turf at the 40-yard line. 6-yard pickup there. A little tempo here being shown by Southwestern. 2nd down and 4. They flip it to Johnson, and he's pushed out of bounds. Nice job there by Hanley from his linebacker position, getting to that sideline. Gain of 1 brings up a 3rd and 3. Third and 3 from the 41. Hernandez-Torres. Pressure in his face. Hernandez-Torres escaping. Pumps, throws, has his man. That's Hazuga caught and down at the 49-yard line. 8-yard pickup and a 1st down for Southwestern. That pump fake was everything for Hernandez-Torres.
Not only that, but you look at Hazuga. He was screaming at Hernandez-Torres to toss it downfield to him, as he had no one within 10 yards. Great job by Hazuga to make his quarterback aware that he was open.
Hernandez-Torres rolling, looking. Howard caught 40-yard line and swung around there by Coos Ford. 11-yard pickup and another 1st down. I'll tell you, he's streaky. 3 straight completions, 6 straight incompletions, and now 3 straight completions for Hernandez-Torres. Run game again and nothing doing. Steven Cruz there. Jacob Hanley there as well to stop Johnson after a gain of 1. Johnson now 6 carries for 3 yards. Came in averaging 5 yards per rush. 2nd and 9, and that one thrown well too tall for Hazuga.
We have a flag down on the far side of the field.
So an illegal hands to the face against Southwestern. So this will move the ball back to midfield. 2nd and 20 coming up here for the Jaguars. Eight on the play clock. Hernandez-Torres got to move here. Over the middle, has a man in the seam, and that's Davey caught. 35-yard line down at the 33. So they get 17 of it back just like that.
It's a great job there by Hernandez-Torres, waiting for Ryan Raines to take 2 steps back into coverage. As soon as he did that and went single high safety, it dropped right in the middle of Kramer and Raines.
3rd and 3, under a minute to play here. Ball at the Golden West 33-yard line. rolling and incomplete. Hernandez-Torres was looking for Davey again. Raines was there on the coverage. And a 4th down coming up. That stops 4 straight completions for Hernandez-Torres. Looks like the offense going to stay on the field, and no, here comes Medina. So Medina will come in. He made one and missed one. 43 seconds left in this half. Medina will line this one up right in between the hash marks. This one will be from 50. His longest of the season is 48. He's capable of making this, definitely has the leg. Let's see if he can execute here, though. This one is good. Medina from 50. And the Jaguars are within 1. 7-6 our score, 38 1/10 left. Carberry bragging on his kicker, saying he was hitting him from 70 yards with the wind at his back last week in pregame, and then here during practice, making them from 50 easily to the end zone to our right, and that's where the big facility is. So balls are just hitting the windows on the 3rd floor, and the dean had to come out and say, hey, you mind moving back some or moving to the other side of the field? You're messing up our beautiful spanking new facility here. As he was just hammering balls into the 3rd floor window here of the complex at DeVore Stadium. So 2 for 3 today. And he squibs this one. Going to be taken on a hop at the 6-yard line. Darius Maxwell tripped up at the 25.
That's Tyler Adderley who just gets to him in time. Otherwise, he had a wide open lane down the middle.
I figure if you're the Rustlers, you probably just take a knee here, right, and take it into the locker room.
And knowing that they're also going to get the football in the second half because they deferred in the first.
A huge conversation in that locker room, I would imagine, with John Shipp and his offense has to be just the points left out on the board or left out on the field. Kalbacher with a couple of interceptions, one thrown in the end zone. Got a penalty against Golden West here on the return. This would be 1st and 10 for the Rustlers. They'll start it back at their own 10-yard line. So any thoughts of maybe doing anything offensively probably hushed with this penalty. Callbacker in there with Valdez. Imagine Tavon will probably get a carry here, and he does. Tavon off the left side up to the 14-yard line. 4-yard pickup. And that should be that in the first half. Southwestern not going to call a timeout. Rustlers don't even have to get off another play. And both teams just going to take it into the locker rooms. Head towards the end zones to our right. So at the end of the first half, it's Southwestern 7, or Golden West 7, pardon me, Southwestern 6. As you're watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn here. And a couple of takeaways from this first half. Ryan, the turnovers, 2 for the Rustlers, just 1 for Southwestern. Rustlers didn't give up any points off turnovers, however, though. So I guess you got to look at that as a bonus, as a positive, as you head to the locker room at halftime.
Indeed, but you look at those 2 turnovers, and they easily took points off the board for Golden West because both of them came on drives that they were getting upfield. You remember that first one specifically on their first offensive series where Bo Kalbacher ends up throwing it in the end zone right-hand side. And that was a series where Golden West was inside their own 15-yard line. They marched it down to inside the 25 of Southwestern, but just weren't able to come away with points. And you said that it was reminiscent of San Diego Mesa. This is what we saw at San Diego Mesa, where Golden West had those chances, but they continually ran themselves out of offensive drives.
Had chances, appeared to be in control of the game, right? And then you're relying on your defense, and only so many rabbits the defense could pull out of the hat, right? And that kind of did them in against San Diego Mesa. Can only hope that's not the outcome here tonight, but still a whole nother half to play here at Southwestern College. So we'll step aside. Coming up on the other side of the break, it'll be the Ryan Osborn Show. He'll take you through all the scores through the SCFA, and we'll break down first half stats and analysis. More to come here from DeVore Stadium. Halftime here as you're watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Halftime here at DeVore Stadium on the campus of Southwestern College. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn with you, and it was a first half in which the Rustlers, quite frankly, squandered some opportunities. Yes, they lead it 7-6 here at the half, but they had some chances to maybe extend this lead or have a much larger lead than they have here at the half. Instead, it is what it is. Be that as it may, the Rustlers have another 30 minutes here to try to come up with win number 4 here and keep any remnants of a postseason berth alive. Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn. We'll go over some first half stats for you. For the Rustlers, Bo Callbacher, 4 carries for 23 yards. Average 5.8 yards per carry. Was really good on those read options. In the passing game, he was 12 of 25 for a touchdown, 128 yards, and 2 interceptions. He was sacked once. Braylon Mouton, Ben Ratliff, David Atencio had 3 catches each. Mouton being the high man from a yardage standpoint with 62 yards. Ratliff with the lone touchdown of the game. As for the Southwestern Jaguars, D'Angelo Howard had 2 carries for 39 yards. Aside from that, Davey had 2 for 4. Morris and Johnson had 2 for 3. Johnson had 7 for a net gain of 0 as the Rustlers received this second half kickoff. There's a flag on the play back at the 10-yard line. They spot the ball at the 12. We'll see what the penalty is as we sort some things out. But Ryan Osborn, your takeaways from the first half.
Really quickly on this penalty, it's a great job by Anthony Trevino. He puts his feet out of bounds and touches the football, thus making him a part of the sideline, and the ball is officially out of bounds. So it gets spotted up to the 35-yard line rather than up to the 12. Great job by Trevino, but going back to that first half, it's really a half of missed opportunity. We already mentioned those turnovers by Golden West and how it kind of punished them whenever they tried to go on offense and put up some numbers. What they really have to do here in the second half is make sure they take care of the football.
There's Bo running again on the first play of the second half. He gets up to the 39-yard line, a pickup of 4.
And I was just about to say, just put it in the hands of Bo Callbacher. Let him decide the game for you on offense.
It's Callbacher with 4 yards on that last gain. He's really been the most impressive rusher for the Rustlers here tonight. 2nd down and 6. They hand it off, and here is nothing happening on the run game for the Rustlers. Just a barrage of Jaguars there in on that stop. Coming out with the ball was the defensive lineman Quentin Walker, but the back was down. That was Valdez on the carry there, and a loss of 2 there. 13:42 left in this third quarter. Kalbacher stops, delivers downfield. Ratcliffe comes back, makes the catch at the 25-yard line, still on his feet and down at the turf at the 22.
I'm going to say Ben Ratcliffe likes to play in this San Diego area.
42 yards on the pickup there. Now first down as the Rustlers find themselves inside of Southwestern territory once again. Fourth catch of the night for Ratcliffe, 76 yards.
Great description there, Rahshaun. He came back for that football, made sure he got separation against Washington before securing it.
Here's the pitch, and nothing doing. Another tackle for loss here by this Southwestern defense, and coming up from his safety spot was Darby there to make that tackle. In their previous play, that stop was made by Isaac Wright as he just kind of held on for dear life there. Second and 15 after that loss there. Kalbacher almost picked off. Huge break there for Golden West as that ball just went in and out of the hands of the defensive back, Daquez Crawford.
And I don't think that ball can hit you any more square in the hands, as it just absolutely pegged him right in the chest, the hands, and he just left it on the carpet. I think that was more him just looking upfield prematurely and not allowing himself to secure the football first before running.
Third and 15 from the 26. Kalbacher over the middle, caught. Mouton spins off one, still on his feet. Power drive to the turf, but down at the 16-yard line. So the Rustlers needed 15. They get 10. And let's see here. Looks like the kicking unit is going to come on. Fourth catch of the night for Mouton. He's now over 70 yards receiving as well. And here comes Arredondo for the field goal. It's 2 of 3 on the year. This one going to be from 33. Trevino to hold. Arredondo gets it up and good. So that extends the Rustler lead. They get some points on their first drive coming out of the locker room at halftime, and they go up 10-6 here, 11:22 to play in the third. And that's a new long for Arredondo on the season. Previous long was 32, so he got that, snipped it by a yard, and it's 10-6 Golden West. That drive, of course, spearheaded by that big 42-yard completion from Kalbacher to Ratcliffe. Back in San Diego County, getting some home cooking perhaps, and making things happen. You mentioned he likes playing down here. I haven't talked to him about it, however, but gotta imagine he likes getting down here and being closer to friends and family. High end over end kick. This one taken at the 7-yard line. And running backwards. Nice job on the special teams. Ryan Raines led the charge there. Is a huge loss by the return man, Davey.
That looked like it was around a net loss of nearly 8 yards. Davey just kind of giving himself up on that opportunity, as he ends up turning to his right and heading back towards the goal line, and that's one of the cardinal sins for returners.
So 1st and 10 from the 7. They start with the run, and that's Morris back in there at quarterback. So he starts this second half at quarterback for the Jaguars. Up the gut and a 3-yard run there by the Jaguar QB. He's been quiet in the running game, which is music to the ears of Nick Mitchell in this Rustler defense. Back they come. They throw it this time and incomplete. That's right in and out of the hands of the intended wide receiver, Kane. Kane's having a rough time tonight. So 3rd and 7 from the 10. This low-scoring affair, very pivotal Southern League matchup here between Golden West and Southwestern. Morris takes the snap in the slot, pass incomplete as it skips to the intended wide receiver, Taishi Dixon, and a 3-and-out forced by the Rustler defense. And probably some good field position to come at as a result of this, Ryan Osborn.
And you have to take it back to Ryan Raines getting that tackle on that return. If he doesn't end up stopping it, then you're looking at least 8 yards that Southwestern has for free. But now you have a chance. You put yourself in good field position thanks to Raines. And one more thing, DeAndre Daniels still not in here in the second half, watching the football game from the sideline.
It's a mystery, isn't it? It's a big-time kick here from Medina. Atencio, fair catch, and made at the 45-yard line. Fans, don't forget Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net, brought to you in part by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts is open 7 days a week, Ryan Osborn, just for your pleasure. Make sure you hit up the fine folks at Miller Toyota of Anaheim, located at the 91 in Euclid, also on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports community college sports and education. 10:34 left in this third quarter. Bo Kalbacher's been the quarterback from the outset here for the Rustlers tonight. And he starts this drive 1st and 10 from the 45. Takes a knuckleball and just throws it away. Took a knuckleball of a snap from Beckler and just threw it away there that time. Heads up play there by Bo.
And really quickly, here on SportsNetUSA.net, you talk about all games. Well, if you haven't had your fill of community college games, we're going to have a lot of basketball coming up here on Thursday and Friday. Indeed, we're going to have the first annual Walt Simon Memorial Classic. 6 games altogether, 3 on Thursday, 3 on Friday.
Is that right?
Indeed, including 3 of the past 4 Southern California champions.
You know I love my hoop, Ryan Osborn.
Hoop guy at heart, right?
Hoop guy at heart. 2nd and 10 from the 46. Dangerous pass and an impressive catch there by Penn. All of that for no gain.
You want to talk about getting yourself out of harm's way. Penn, as he grabs that football, spins away from what would have been a brutal tackle.
That had an interception, brutal tackle, you name it, written all over it. Ends up going for no gain. 3rd and 10. Ball at the 45 of Southwestern. Kalbacher takes the knuckleball of a snap over the middle, incomplete, looking for Penn. Rustlers go 3 and out after forcing a 3 and out, and in comes Fisher. Thought that was a big drive, Ryan Osborn. Thought that was a big drive.
And they had a chance, and now what you're looking for from Fisher is really just to pin them inside their own 15. Because then that gives you a chance if your defense shows up again and forces a 3 and out, you still have good field position on the other side.
Howard camps at his own 10. Rugby style kick by Fisher. Takes a big bounce at the 18 and downed at about the 16. 8's not touching this ball tonight, Ryan Osborn.
Not at
all. If the Rustlers can help it. Got a chuckle out of you there.
Well,
you're always so stoic.
It was interesting to see David Aldapa run up to that football and kind of field it from behind and bring the football back up 3 yards. Just trying to get that extra bit of space for his defense to work with.
Shout out to the Aldapas. You missed the tailgate last week, Ryan Osborn.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, it was phenomenal. Last one of the year, at home at least. Wolf Ratzliff with the big-time tackle there. Stop after a gain of 2. As Hernandez Torres is back in there at quarterback. I heard the tailgate went up today, too, out here in San Diego. Of course, we didn't get a chance to make it out to that one. We were tailgating with the enemies. But hey, you know, it's a tailgate, right?
Indeed.
But the Aldapas so generous with their time and support of us here on SportsNetUSA.net as that one goes incomplete. That one thrown right at the shoe tops of the intended wide receiver. Looked like that was Randolph there once. Yeah, it was Randolph there once again. So a 3rd and 7 coming up. Hernandez Torres rolls the pocket, pumps, stops, throws across his body to Randolph. And a 1st down catch at the 32-yard line.
You had a word earlier, escapability. And that's what Hernandez Torres has shown that he has in his game. He can just roll outside the pocket and is calm as he looks upfield.
A little pop pass to Kane, and Kane gets 1. Second and 9 from the 33. Hernandez Torres. Play fake, ball's out. He falls on top of it, throws it backwards. That's a live ball. It goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line. A big no-no there by Hernandez Torres, the sophomore from right here in Chula Vista. Just threw that one well behind him. And that's a huge loss here for the Jaguars. So it's going to be a loss of 18 here. 3rd and forever. Jaguars need to get to Mexico for a 1st down. 8:05 left in this 3rd quarter. And incomplete. Raines almost picked it off. What a game Ryan Raines is having here tonight, Ryan Osborn.
He's just been all over the field. And not to mention, you look at Raines and how he's anticipating these footballs. You see him moved up, as you said, he's been working at Sam linebacker all season long, but all of a sudden he gets moved back to his more natural position at safety, and he has looked terrific. He's had an extra jump, he has anticipated balls well, broken up 3 different passes, and got 3 tackles as well.
4th and 27. Atencio standing back on his own. That one blocked! It got blocked. Rustlers got a piece of it. That was Sayo Amor, but I think it was J.J. Barajas that got there first. Barajas got a piece of that punt from Medina. And so the Rustlers with prime field position here. They've been close all night, Ryan. And they finally get there. Ball down at the 30-yard line. So the Rustlers will start this one deep in Jaguar territory.
You said it multiple times tonight, Rahshaun, that they have gotten close. The question is, could they get that extra jump off the line? And with that added incentive of it giving them better field position, they're able to get to that football right before Medina gets it off.
Callbacher, they set up a middle screen. Tavon, oh, he had the linebacker Hansen just all around his waist. That one could have went for a much longer gain. Instead, it's going to be a pickup of 6 for the Rustlers. Nice tackle there by the linebacker Cameron Hansen. Here's Kalbacher looking for Ratcliffe up top, and a nice PBU there. Ratcliffe's been battling here all night. Washington's played him tough. He's played all these Rustler receivers pretty tough, but Washington got in there at the last moment and just punched that ball out from behind of Ratcliffe. Incomplete, 3rd down and 4. Rustlers have the ball on the 24-yard line of Southwestern. 3 would be good, 7 would be a whole lot better. 4 wide for Kalbacher, pumps, throws, looking, end zone! Caught! Touchdown, Rustlers!
Simply sensational on that far side.
Jonathan Earl with the big-time touchdown reception. And it's a 10-point lead here for the Rustlers with 7:07 to play and the point after pending. Point after attempt is good. Rustlers 17, Jaguars 16. As you're watching Golden West football right here on sportsnetusa.net. And for Earl, touchdown reception number 5 on the season. 2-touchdown night for Kalbacher tonight. He's now got 16 on the year. And how about that ball? How about that catch there by Earl over the shoulder?
And you look at that, I mean, you talk about over the shoulder. He had all his momentum going away from the football, and you really want to look at that throw by Kalbacher, just floating it up there and allowing his receivers to have a chance and go get that football, rather than trying to force it in like we saw in the first quarter.
And you just feel so good for Earl. I go back to that Canyons game where it was just a rough night for him. He had a couple of drops in that one in the end zone. There was one in particular, he was wide open. Just a rough night for him overall, but he's bounced back wonderfully since. And here's a nice return here by the Jaguars across the 30. Is that Daniels?
That is Daniels.
The first time we've seen him or called his name all night, and it comes on a kickoff return in the 3rd quarter with the Jaguars down by 11, their largest deficit of the night.
And he immediately checks out of the football game.
He stays on this sideline right here in front of us. Wow.
Now you have to wonder if it's more of a team thing, personnel thing, rather than an injury, because he was able to scamper up the field pretty well on that last opportunity.
17-6 our score. Here's an end around, and here's Howard, the dangerous Howard, into the open field. And all the way down near midfield. There is a flag on the play, however, back towards the line of scrimmage. If it stands, it's going to be a pickup of 18. And he's really been their best runner all night. It's going to be an offside against the Rustlers, declined. So the play will stand. He's got 57 yards on the ground, does Howard, on just 3 carries. First and 10 from midfield. Hernandez-Torres still in there at quarterback. They put Kane in motion. They hand it off right up the middle, and that's Johnson. The Rustler defense is there. Johnson picks up 4 and still on his feet, and some late pushing and shoving, and now a late flag comes in. These are the things Rustlers can't let happen. Ryan Osborn.
Indeed, and I mean, after you just get that touchdown, that gives you so much momentum. All of a sudden, you take it right back away, and if this goes against Golden West, that's back-to-back big plays that they give up. if the penalty gets Southwestern back into Golden West territory. And this is actually going to go against Southwestern, so it's going to be a personal foul that goes against Jason Miller on the offensive line. Miller just a little bit extra after the play, and it gets marched back all the way to the 40-yard line.
While we have a moment, we want to say hello to Mrs. Mitch watching us up north. Hope all is well with you. Appreciate your continued support of us here on SportsNetUSA.net. 2nd and 20 here for the Jaguars. And a little quick pass thrown out. And that ball gets out, but out of bounds, though, however. As the catch was made there by Andre Randolph.
Fans voicing their displeasure.
These fans not happy, Ryan. Now, I don't know if you can hear them at home, if our mics are able to pick them up, but they are upset by the physicality of the Rustlers here. It's a 7-yard pickup, 3rd and 13. Hernandez-Torres, all kind of time over the middle, incomplete. That pass was thrown behind Hazuga, the intended receiver there, and brings up a 4th down. This Rustler defense is held pretty tough here all night, Ryan. Only giving up a couple of field goals. No points off turnovers, despite the offense having 2 tonight. So far, so good after what happened last week. Special teams good as well. Had a block punt earlier in this game. This one is a cheerleader's game. Cheerleaders run out of Dodge there as that punt came right for them.
They wanted nothing to do with that
They wanted
football.
nothing to do with that off the foot of Medina. 17-6 the score. 5:28 left here, 3rd quarter. Big game, Ryan. Must win. For those of you at home, in case you're just joining us, Rustlers need this win to keep any hopes of a bowl berth alive. Gotta have this win here tonight. Bo Kalbacher, 2 touchdowns tonight. Also 2 interceptions. Jose Arredondo with a field goal. And all the points for Southwestern have come off the leg of Jaime Medina. He's got 2 field goals, including 1 for 50 at the end of the first half. Here is a run play to Swain off the right side, and he picks up 2 up to the 27-yard line, and a 2nd down and 8 coming up. This was a 7-6 ball game at the half. Rustlers have scored 10 straight to start this 3rd quarter. It's Kalbacher on 2nd and 7 from the 28. Hit as he throws that one behind pin. Incomplete, as it was heavy pressure put on Kalbacher there by Torres, as Kalbacher needs to be helped up from the turf. Third and 7. Ball at the Rustler 27-yard line. Jaguar fans trying to get into it, knowing their defense needs a stop here. Kalbacher going to tuck it in the run. Look at Bo go. 1st down and more near the 40-yard line. The big arm and the fresh legs of Kalbacher leading this Rustler offensive attack here tonight. Picks up 13 there and another 1st down for the Rustlers. What a night for Kalbacher running the football.
And this should be offsides on Southwestern. We'll see whether or not they do catch Jacob Beckler for a little bit of movement prior to the snap.
Of course, sacks count as run yards in college football. So ending the night, Kalbacher had negative 41 rush yards on the season. That's an offsides, as you mentioned, Ryan, right there against Southwestern. Minus 41 yards on the ground for the season for Bo. Of course, they count the sack yards. But he's got 39 here tonight.
Quick scoring update. Saddleback and Grossmont. It's Saddleback 28, Grossmont 21.
Wow.
Grossmont has the last two scores.
They run it, and now getting out of dodge there. Big time run here. Across the 40 and out of bounds. Biggest run of the night for the Rustlers. And it was a late flag that came in. That was Swain on the carry. "23-yard run if it stands" for Swain. For Dante, that'd be his longest rush of the season. So dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Rustlers. So they take the penalty from the end of the run.
That's huge. Because that football was supposed to be down inside the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it was. Instead, it moves back to the 47-yard line of Southwestern. 3:51 left. Third quarter action here from beautiful DeVore Stadium on the campus of Southwestern College. Swain still in there at a tailback, and he takes it on the stretch play, tries to find the edge.
Jacob Beckler is feeling it just a little bit.
Yeah, he is. Rustlers already down an offensive lineman. No Roman Neomata tonight, in case you're just joining us. And Neomata had been starting at center for these Rustlers the last few games. And with him out, Beckler moves back over to center where he started the season. But he is in some kind of pain right now. That last run for Swain went for 2. So a 2nd down and 8 coming up, but before that, it'll be a timeout taken by the Rustlers. Not sure if this is more strategy or more to allow Beckler to kind of get his wits back. Nonetheless, it comes with 3:06 left in this third quarter. Rustlers 17, Jaguars 6. It'll be a 2nd and 8 for Golden West from the 45-yard line of Southwestern once play resumes. Talk about a play call. What are you thinking here?
I think if you're John Shipp, you leave it in the hands of Bo Kalbacher and allow him to try and march you downfield. So I think you draw something up where you get maybe a Penn or a Mouton slashing across the field and just try and pick up that first down. And very quickly over at Saddleback, well, Grossmont had an interception. They're about to kick a field goal, and they do get it up, and it is good. So it is now 28-24, the score from Saddleback. Grossmont with each of the last 17 points.
That's interesting. These Rustlers will see Grossmont next week down here in San Diego. Kalbacher pulls it out and throws it too tall for R.J. Sylvester, and immediately Bo knew it as he just reached for his knees there, knowing that Put a little bit too much zip and a little bit too much air underneath that one. 3 minutes exactly left, 3rd and 8 coming up. $10 on the play clock. 3rd and 8 from the Jaguar 45-yard line. Kalbacher, pressure right in his face, escapes, stops, and he's going to eat it. Sacked on the play. Sack made by Quinones. It's a Jaguar team that likes to get off after the quarterback. They had 5 sacks last week in the loss to RCC. And enter Fisher in the punting unit. Rugby style kick again from Fisher. This one bounces well shy of where Howard was expecting to receive this one.
It was nearly touched there by Christopher Jones, who
was.
reached back for that football.
Downed at the 15-yard line, and that's where Southwestern will take over. A lot of time left in this one. The Rustler defense tonight has looked like the Rustler defense. But still a lot of time left to protect. Hanley and Aldapa in there at linebacker. Hernandez Torres on first down. Oh, Aldapa nearly had that one. Second and 10 from the 15. They send a man in motion. They fake the end around and go up the gut for 9. And that is Daniels. So Daniels' first carry of the night goes for 9, and it comes with just under 2 to play here in this 3rd quarter. Really interesting. Not sure what happened or why he has not been in the game, but here he is again in the open field. Tackled from behind at the 40-yard line.
And he received some pretty high praise from the Fullerton College broadcasters here on SportsNetUSA.net. Corey Nayland, Mark Pavlovich, they said, quote, he's the real deal, and a lot of people are unfortunate that they can't watch him day in and day out.
So he's still in there. Just got the last 2 carries. That last one went for 17. This time they go with the pop pass, and this is Howard. Howard up to the 48-yard line. Eight-yard pickup. It's about the 3rd time tonight as Daniels gets the carry, makes one man miss in the backfield. And it picks up 1. I was going to say, Ryan Osborn, it's about the 3rd time tonight this Southwestern offense has kind of reinvented itself somewhat on the fly, if you will.
Well, we saw them on that first drive where they were just able to march their way upfield with DeMonte Morris. Then they switch it over to Marcus Hernandez-Torres, and now all of a sudden you finally get DeAndre Daniels in there, and it almost looks like it's a baton handoff constantly on this offense for Southwestern. And the anchor on this race is supposed to be DeAndre Daniels.
So they go with the jumbo package. They bring in Hanson, the linebacker, in to play fullback. Also Noah Berry as well. 2 linebackers in there on offense, but a timeout comes. Timeout taken by Southwestern. So for the Jaguars, this timeout comes with 40 tenths left, or 40 seconds left. And them trailing this one by 2 possessions. So Daniel's in there as the deep back. They got Barry, sort of an H-back, and the fullback is Hanson. 2 linebackers in the backfield. Hernandez-Torres on 3rd and 1 from midfield. Under center. And there's some movement up front against Southwestern. Head start being taken there by Sakona Tuavo. Let's try that again. Sakonia Tuavao. They go with the same formation. They give it to Daniels on 3rd and 6. And the Rustler defense holds.
Late flag throwing.
A late flag there, however. But a nice job there. Baldwin Wilson in on the stop for the Rustlers.
This one may be against Golden West.
Wow.
It is indeed a personal
A
foul.
15-yarder against the Rustlers.
And those are the areas where you wish that perhaps the white hat could have a microphone or something so that way we could hear him and get the exact penalty call. As you wonder, maybe it was more of a taunting type of thing.
Yeah.
After stuffing them.
No signal from, we can't hear, as you mentioned, Ryan. So that's a tough one. Hernandez-Torres quickly out the other way. And, wow, they say that's complete. That's Azuga over there on the far side. Nice diving catch backwards to go get that one. 5-yard pickup. It's the second catch of the night for Hazuga, and that takes us to the end of the 3rd quarter. So after 3 here in San Diego, it's Golden West 17, Southwestern 6. As you're watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net, Rahshaun Haylock alongside Ryan Osborn. Andrew King pitching in as well from the Southland. Always appreciate his input. Ed Ford, of course, our operations manager, manning the controls.
And a real quick reminder of what's coming up here on SportsNetUSA.net. We have the first annual Walt Simon Classic on Thursday and Friday, 3, 5, and 7 p.m. on both days. And don't forget that on Thursday afternoon, after the 5 o'clock game, we're just going to stay on the air and feature the Walt Simon Memorial Ceremony that's going to take place at Fullerton College. His son, Miles, is going to be there. Of course, Miles, the 1997 Final Four MVP for the University of Arizona. So once again, Fullerton College basketball back live and on the air here on SportsNetUSA.net on Thursday and Friday at 3, 5, and 7 p.m.
Final 15 minutes here from San Diego. And a big 15 minutes it is. Here is Howard on the end around. Howard on this first play of the quarter. Picks up 8 and a first down here for Southwestern. Looks like we have an injured Jaguar down. Can't see who that is over there. But just thinking out loud here, Ryan. The fourth quarter, obviously, this Rustler defense has been pretty good. This is about the third time tonight this Southwestern offense has reinvented itself. But this time they do so with arguably its best player, and that's Daniels. He's in there late in the game. Everybody's been playing all night except him. He's got fresh legs.
Yeah, and it's really showed.
That's a little scary.
The way and you're not wrong, because he has 770 yards this season, and every time he touches the football, it's electrifying. He's able to just get in and out of linebackers and defensive linemen with the greatest of ease, and it's wonderful to be able to see him do that. But the thing is, if you're Golden West, you don't want him to do that during this game, and especially not here in the fourth quarter, and you wonder if maybe that could have even been the game plan for Southwestern is, hey, you know what? We're going to try and save him towards near the end of the ball game. I mean, it would be a wacky game plan, but if you want to bring in those fresh legs in the second half, it's working.
It's bold strategy, Cotton. But we don't know. I mean, we didn't get any word of it. We were down there before the game talking to the coaches and didn't get any word of it. So, and he appeared to be okay. He's the leading rusher in the Southern Conference, leads the Southern Conference in rushing yards as well as rushing touchdowns. Here's the first down play. Hernandez-Torres, a lot of room to run. Doesn't take it. Stops, though, however, and just has to throw this one away. It was a nice effort there to make a diving catch by Tiamalu. But if you're Hernandez-Torres, you got to pull that one down and run.
Absolutely.
He had a good 15 yards or so. Really 20 between him and any green jerseys. Second and 10. Ball at the Rustler 26-yard line. Howard back in there after leaving the game. And Daniels, looks like that ball was out momentarily. Aldapa comes up with it. But they say Daniels was down. And if there is a knock on him, he has been somewhat prone to putting the ball on the turf, DeAndre Daniels. That gain goes for a loss of 1. So 3rd and 11. Ball at the 27. Hernandez-Torres throwing up top, looking for Hazuga, incomplete. Coos Ford there on the coverage. He wants an offensive PI, not going to get it, but enter the field goal unit. And Jaime Medina, he hit from 50 earlier tonight. This one going to be from about 45, it looks like. 44 is where they set up.
I think the timeout was taken. It may have been taken before the snap went out.
The play clock's at double zeros. So I'm not sure if it's a timeout taken or delay a game here.
They look like they're going to march it back. It may be a delay of game. You
Yeah.
got it spot on, Rahshaun.
Nick Mitchell is saying no, we don't want the timeout. I think he may have called the timeout at the same time as the play clock expiring.
What's
And so I think he's saying now, well, no, we don't want the timeout. We'll take the penalty.
And what's interesting to note is that Medina at the end of the kick actually missed.
I've seen some things, Ryan Osborn.
There's only so much I can zoom out for a field goal.
So we got something to discuss here. Nick Mitchell. And now they figured out. He says, no, let's take the penalty. I think it was one of those things where it was simultaneous whistles. I think one whistle came from the far sideline for a timeout, and another whistle came for a delay of game. And so the official's like, I got a timeout here, I got a delay of game here, and it's one of those things, well, Golden West, do you want the timeout or not? So they say no timeout, delay game, take the 5-yard penalty. This from 49, and now here comes the timeout. So Mitchell calls the timeout
but we also have a flag.
But there is a flag on the play. So I wasn't sure the first time, but this is going to be a false start.
It's motion
against Southwestern. So they've lost 10 yards on the last 2 plays. Meanwhile, Nick Mitchell has been trying to ice Jaime Medina these last 2 plays, and Southwestern won't let him. Unreal.
And they're actually going to trot their offense.
So their offense is going to come back onto the field here.
And if you're Golden West, you have to be wary of 2 things. Obviously a deep ball to try and get that first down, but also a drop kick. Something that we saw against West LA earlier this season.
So 4th and 20 from the 37-yard line. Hernandez Torres back out there with 4 wide receivers. Daniels is the back. Hernandez Torres stops, throws it deep, end zone, incomplete.
And he had a man wide open.
Had him. It looks like that was Randolph, the Southwestern receiver. And that is 21. I mean, he was open.
No one within 10 yards.
Nice job by the Rustler defense to get there and at the same time as the ball and to draw that one loose. But that could have easily backfired. So Rustlers take over 1st and 10 from their own 37. What a wild sequence there. Here's Kahlbacher. Steps up, and Kahlbacher going to go down again for the 3rd time tonight. Kahlbacher is sacked. This time it's Walker on that defensive front for Southwestern. They sack the quarterback, folks. That's what they do. One of the more talented defensive lines in the SCFA is this Southwestern front 4. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12 from the 35. Kahlbacher, 7 on the play clock, 4 wide. They hand it off up the middle, and looks like that's Lewis getting his first carry of the game. 2-yard pickup. Back to the original line of scrimmage, 3rd and long coming up. .12:21 left. Kahlbacher escapes. Kahlbacher throws on the run. Tip drill picked off. Trujillo on the tip drill. Atencio tackles him at the 47-yard line. Third interception tonight for Kalbacher. And this one is a big one with 12:08 left here in this fourth.
And earlier we were talking about Hernandez-Torres not running with the football when he had daylight. Bo had a lot of room to run on that right-hand side.
Yeah, he had a man on the run, though. Hernandez-Torres over the middle. Tip drill! Almost picked off there by the Rustlers.
This ball is pinballing around here in the second half.
Carlos Crawford nearly came up with that one. 2nd and 10 coming up. Bo had a man streaking over the middle, and he was rolling to his right, too, so it seemed like an easy enough throw, but you got to credit the Southwestern defense for getting in there, getting a hand on the ball. Empty set. Hernandez-Torres finds Daniels in the slot, turns it upfield, and gets beyond the sticks for a pickup of 11. First down. They go empty again. We haven't seen this tonight. Prior to this drive, Hernandez-Torres off his back foot this time. And another completion of 3. And that was Tiomalu.
Quick update over at Saddleback. Saddleback 35, Grossmont 30.
Second and 7 from the Rustler 33-yard line. They go empty for the third consecutive play. Hernandez-Torres, and nice pressure there by the Rustlers. Malu all in his face there. Forces the incompletion. Third down here.
Quick update here on SportsNetUSA.net. East LA is losing to Ventura 39-13.
And Ventura took a tough loss last week to College of the Canyons as Canyons in the coaches poll popped back up to #1 in the state. I think they're for real. I think they're the real deal. They made me a believer when we went out there earlier this year, Ryan Osborn.
And it was interesting because you mentioned that game, and for the most part, all game they didn't impress us. But then came that scoring burst, ending the second quarter, starting the third quarter, where they scored 21 points in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was what was impressive.
Yeah. It was that short of a span from the end of the first half going into the start of the second half, and it was, like you said, it was quick burst, and all of a sudden the game went from reachable to out of control. And on top of all that, Caden Dunn goes down on the very first possession. Or early on in the game, their starting tailback, and then they were without their starting quarterback that game as well. Didn't play at all.
Here's what's amazing: Andrew Brito, their starting quarterback, has not played since that time.
Wow.
It's all their backup quarterback, Wyatt Egett.
And Egett looked good enough that night, right? Looked good enough to be the starter. I'll tell you, this Golden West team is going up against some of the best backups ever. Guys are earning spots against this Rustler defense this season. Just no knock on the Rustlers. I mean, it's coaching staff is like, whoa, you can do this against Golden West defense. You're good enough to start. It's a defense that's perennially been amongst the top in the Southern Conference under Nick Mitchell. It's the 3rd and 7 play out of the timeout. Empty set once again. Pressure from the backside. Pass complete to Daniels. And Daniels may have gotten the first down. That was pressure that came from the defensive backfield for the Rustlers. Jason Fuga there.
It's good to be able to see Fuga back in play.
Yeah. Good to see him back out there. Daniels was able to get it up to the 22-yard line, so another gain of 11. So 1st and 10, empty set once again. Hernandez-Torres and a little wheel route. Looking for Daniels, incomplete. Couple flags come in though. And Steven Cruz seems to think this one is going to go against Southwestern. He pointed at the official like, you saw that, right? You saw that. There are 2 flags on the play. How about Steven Cruz? Undersized defensive lineman and kind of thrust in there. This front 4 of the Rustlers took a huge hit without Austin Cooper and Jalen Harrington. And Cruz is one of those guys who's kind of had to pick up the slack here a little bit, as it's going to be a hold against Southwestern. He's been really good of late. Paka Kakakulidis, can't say enough about what he's done. Thrusted into the starting lineup. Malu's been good all season long. But, I mean, you get some rubber bands and crazy glue and try to put this one together, and they almost had Hernandez-Torres. Mayava grabs him from behind, trips him up at the 30-yard line. So instead of a sack, it ends up being a gain of about 3 there on the rush. But how Paka and VJ weren't able to get him down in the backfield is beyond me.
Sometimes your momentum actually propels the guy away from you, and that was that situation in which they kind of hit him with their chest, but they just weren't able to wrap him up.
So 2nd and 17 from the 30. Hernandez-Torres has been pretty much his show from about the 2nd quarter, midway through the 1st quarter on here. Morris came back into the game for the first drive of this half, but it's been Hernandez-Torres since. Free play here for the Jaguars. Hernandez-Torres lets it fly and it's nearly picked off, but broken up in the end zone by Kramer. Hazuga actually did a nice job playing defensive back there for the Jaguars.
And yes, it's a free play, but that's already the 5th time tonight that we have seen a ball hit these defensive backs' hands and just pop right back out.
So what was a 2nd and 17 going to be a 2nd and 12 now, as we're just under 10 to play here. 9:58 left in this 4th quarter. Rustlers holding on to an 11-point lead. Hernandez-Torres stops, gets rid of it to Howard in open field, and Howard up to the 20-yard line. But nothing much more than that. 4-yard pickup. Coos Ford there on the tackle.
Howard's going to have to take a seat for a play as his helmet popped off.
Another flag on the play, however. It's going to be a hold against Southwestern. It's a Southwestern team that has been the least penalized team in the Southern League entering tonight, but seen a lot go against them here tonight. So 2nd and 22 from the 35 of the Rustlers now. Hernandez-Torres with one back, 4 wide receivers. Dumps it off to Daniels, who catches 35-yard line and pushed out of bounds by Cruz there at the 31. And there's a Rustler down behind the play.
Looks like it's Memminger.
Yeah. Big Kevin Memminger down at the 45. Pops right back up, however. But It's amazing how he just did that. Looked like he was in a whole lot of pain, but able to run off the field under his own strength. 4-yard pickup there. 3rd and 18 from the Rustler 31. Hernandez Torres trying to lead this Southwestern offense. In the slot, incomplete. Raines was in the vicinity. But a 4th and long coming up here as Daniels was the intended wide receiver there for Southwestern. And 9:18 to play. So the last time Medina came out to attempt a field goal, wasn't able to get it off. Nick Mitchell tried to ice him twice. Southwestern wouldn't let him with a couple of penalties. No ice there, but the kick is blocked. Blocked by Raines. What a night for Ryan Raines. Special teams phenomenal here tonight. Sean Corcoran, it's got to be nothing but smiles down there on the Rustler sideline. His team has evaded Howard all night. They blocked a punt and now have blocked a field goal here and take over 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line, holding on to an 11-point lead.
You want to talk about a great night for Ryan Raines. This is going to be one that he remembers for the rest of his life. 7 tackles tonight, in addition to that block.
Here's Swain into the secondary, up to the 40-yard line. 12-yard pickup and a 1st down for the Rustlers. Under 9 to play here. Rustler 17, Jaguars 6. Home crowd in disbelief. Bo wanted to pull that one back out unsuccessfully, however. And it ends up being a pickup of 0 there for Swain. Here's the 2nd down play, Kalbacher. And he just throws this one away. Third and 10 Rustlers from the 41-yard line. How about Ryan Raines? What a game for him tonight. Talking to Coach Mitchell earlier on, he says, we're going to try some things out, put him in the secondary. And as you mentioned, kind of back to his more natural position. And he has been all over the field here tonight. That last block field goal was huge. And a bad snap there. Kalbacher tries to fall on top of it, but it's recovered by the Jaguars. Barry comes up with the ball. As that shotgun snap just never got to Bo.
And yes, it is a bad snap, but that's a situation where you kind of wish Bo would end up just jumping on top of that football, because he was kind of leaning back trying to reach for it and still make something out of the play. In that situation, you want Bo to just take that football and go straight to the floor. 4th
turnover of the night for the Rustlers. 1st and 10 Jaguars from the Golden West 35-yard line. 7:48 left in this ball game. Hernandez-Torres back in there at quarterback. Escapes again, throws it behind Howard and incomplete. Rustler defense has been good all night long. Called on once again to protect deep in its own zone. Here's Johnson on the carry. And Johnson gang tackled after a pickup of 4. And you see some urgency here. For the Jaguars. At least Johnson was trying to hurry up to the line of scrimmage, but Hernandez-Torres taking a while to get the play from the sideline. 3rd down and 7, they're calling it, from the 32-yard line. They give it to Howard, and Hernandez-Torres actually keeps it himself. And with the Rustler defense all over that, no gain there, and a 4th down coming up. How about this defense?
What's funny about that one is that he actually bounced off of 3 different Golden West defenders. One of them being Kevin Memminger. It seemed like every time he bounced off of someone, his momentum would end up bringing him back into balance.
They leave the offense out there. What do you think about this, Ryan? You're down 2 possessions. I mean, even if you...
Only 6.5 to play, though.
I mean, even 3 here, you would need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So the offense stays on the field. 4th and 7 from the 32. Hernandez-Torres caught. Hazuga over the middle. Hit at the 18-yard line, but a 1st down.
And those are the types of plays that you want to see from an offense in a 4th down situation. Just something that's a quick hit that gets right to the sticks and dies right afterwards.
14-yard pickup. 1st and 10 from the 18. A floater. Caught. Touchdown, Southwestern. What a catch there.
There's going to be a penalty afterwards.
Hazuga making that touchdown reception. It's his 2nd touchdown grab of the year for Hernandez-Torres. Touchdown pass number 3. But as you mentioned, the referees are conferring here. Be an 18-yard touchdown if it stands. I didn't see the flag. I still don't see a flag.
It's down there on that left-hand side. It looked like it was for...
Oh, there it is, at about the 12.
For guys coming off the sideline to go and celebrate.
Let them live. Let them be great, right?
And I'm with you, Rahshaun. I mean, that's one of those penalties that late in the game, especially with the momentum that Southwestern had, you may want to think about keeping that hanky in the pocket. And I guess the Southwestern fans agree with us.
So the touchdown stands. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike against Southwestern. And so Rustlers will take the penalty here on the point after attempt. And the offense stays out there. Down by 5, right? The card or the chart, whatever you look at, tells you to go for 2.
Because should you come back and get a touchdown, that would give you the lead, even if you don't get this 2-point conversion.
So this moves them back to the 18-yard line, same spot where they just converted that last touchdown.
And oddly enough, this also shows how much faith they have in their kicker, Medina. They're basically saying that anywhere we get on the field, we trust him to knock it in.
Play fake. Hernandez-Torres off his back foot, incomplete. And the conversion fails. So the Jaguars find the end zone for the first time tonight, but fail on the two-point conversion. And Golden West holds on to a 5-point lead with 5:58 to play in this fourth quarter. Nice grab by Hazuga there on that touchdown.
Indeed, he had to fight off a defender and also make sure that he had the presence of mind to tap his toes in and allow him to get the 6. Quick update, Mount Sac and San Diego Mesa are going to overtime. Tied at 20.
You wonder what's going on with that Mount Sac program, right? Not to take anything away from Mesa, but just clearly you talk to some of the coaches, you know, around the SCFA, and clearly that program not where you're accustomed to seeing them be. They're working on a new facility out there.
Both them and Saddleback.
Yeah. Grossmont working on one here as well. And here is the onside kick. And Southwestern says they have it. No word from the official yet. And flags galore come in now.
And that's probably going to be for yanking guys off the pile.
Rustlers were ready for the onside kick.
And it is Southwestern.
But Southwestern recovers it.
Kind of a hanky, we'll say, coverage there by Southwestern for formation. They had 8 different guys right next to where that football was about to be kicked.
It's almost like they set a screen for the designated person to recover.
It was like a baseline out, double screen, and all of a sudden you have that guy who is supposed to go and get that football.
So is there unsportsmanlike conduct against the Rustlers after the play? So instead of it being 1st and 10 in midfield, it's 1st and 10 at the Rustler 35-yard line.
You've been talking about this defense all night, Rahshaun. This is the spot where they're going to have to show up. If they allow Southwestern to just march downfield and into the end zone, they're in trouble with only 5:58 left.
Nervous time here in San Diego. Hernandez-Torres sends Kane in motion, fakes it, gives it to Daniels, and Malo throws him down to the turf in the backfield. A huge loss. 2nd and 17 coming up. Ball at the 41-yard line. Hernandez-Torres throws. Howard catches. Justin Parker with the tackle at the 34-yard line. Pickup of 7, 2nd and 9 coming up. Third and 9. Daniels breaks one tackle. Daniels still on his feet. And Kramer gets him down at the 22. pickup of 12 and another first down here for Southwestern. Rustlers had 2 chances to get him down unsuccessfully. First and 10 from the 21. They throw it out. Howard with room. Howard is thrown down at the 19.
You have to start off with that terrific block there by Randolph on the outside as he's able to get to Parker and just undercut him, allowing for Howard to move upfield.
There's Kramer there on the stop. Approaching 4 to play here in this fourth. Daniels up the gut. Daniels breaks the tackle and gets into the end zone. Southwestern has its first lead of the night.
And if you're Southwestern, looks like they're just going to trot out Medina. If I were Southwestern, you try and go for 2 in this situation.
Yeah, I think they just changed their mind as Medina comes off now.
It would force Golden West to at least get a field goal to tie it.
Full house backfield. They give it to Daniels. Stops, burst, end zone. 2-point conversion is good, and it's a 3-point lead for Southwestern.
And you know what, Rahshaun? I think even though it's a small play, you have to go back to about, we'll say 6 minutes ago in game time, where Golden West had that personal foul when they stuffed Southwestern. But they had the personal foul that knocked them back 15 yards and marched Southwestern into Golden West territory. It's just those small little plays for Golden West, and then you go to that onside kick where, as you mentioned, just a designated recovery guy, and they're able to convert on that. And multiple times on that drive, they just weren't able to drag down Daniels or Hernandez-Torres.
And Medina puts a boot into this one. Into the end zone, touchback. So the Rustlers will take over 1st and 10 from its own 25-yard line, trailing here for the first time tonight. In case you're just joining us, DeAndre Daniels, the leading rusher in the Southern League, didn't play the entire first half, nor most of the third quarter, but has come on late here and just scored the go-ahead touchdown for Southwestern in the ensuing 2-point conversion. Kalbacher on 1st and 10, finds Atencio. He's down at the 28-yard line.
They're going to say,
and they're going to say incomplete. So 2nd and 10 coming up. Now, looked like he clearly ran after that.
I was going to say, that makes no sense because he catches the football at the 26-yard line, moves upfield 2 yards and towards the sideline, and finally that ball pops out after he hits the ground.
Kalbacher on 2nd and 10. Bo going to tuck it and run, tries to find the edge against Washington and does. Gets a first down.
There's a late hit on the sideline.
Looked like a late hit on the sideline as well. I don't see a flag that came in though, Ryan.
There was none thrown. And on that far side, Golden West is not happy about the non-call.
Kalbacher now with 50 rush yards. as we near 3.5 to play in this game. 1st and 10 Rustlers from the 36-yard line. Southwestern crowd cheering here tonight as Kalbacher picks up 2 there on that scramble before running into Cameron Hansen. Second down. 3 minutes left. A false start against Golden West. Second and 14 from the 32. Kalbacher tries to escape and he's going to get sacked. Kalbacher goes down for the 5th time tonight. It was Dalen Moses done there on the sack. It's now a 3rd and forever here for the Rustlers. Ball back at the 24-yard line. The line to gain is the 46. Kalbacher out of the gun. Sets up a screen and thrown way too tall for Tavon. 4th down. You're the Rustlers, you have 2 timeouts left. But even with those timeouts, if you punt this one away, you're in danger of not getting the ball back, considering this is a team that likes to run. Nonetheless, Fisher and company come out.
You're kind of playing a time game right now, assuming that you're able to get those 2 timeouts off.
Fisher booms this one. Takes a Rustler roll. And going to be downed at the 33. 1:48 left. I mean, you're deep in your own zone. It's 2nd and forever, or 4th and forever. Not too many 4th and 26 calls on the play sheet there. I get it. So you kind of take your chances here, as you said, Ryan, with the time game. But 1 first down here from Southwestern, this game is over.
They can march 40 seconds off the clock on each play. So you're saying, okay, 40 seconds off the clock means around 80 seconds of total game time that they can run off for free.
The Rustlers can only stop the clock twice. And there's a false start against Southwestern. So a gift to start this drive for the Rustlers. First and 15, Southwestern from its own 28-yard line. Handoff. And Rustler defense makes the stop there. Pickup of no gain there by Daniels. Or take that back, pickup of 3 there. 2nd and 12 coming up. Clock stops at 1:43 to play. Don't forget, Golden West football right here on sportsnetUSA.net, brought to you in part by Miller Toyota of Anaheim. Used car deals, new car deals, military discounts. Make sure you hit up the fine folks at Miller Toyota of Anaheim, located off the 91 and Euclid, and on the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. 1:43 to play here. Jaguars with the ball and a 3-point lead. Nursing its first lead of the game, which they just took a little over 2 minutes ago. Thanks to a DeAndre Daniels 18-yard touchdown run and an ensuing 2-point conversion. Full house backfield. Daniels, the deep back. They give it to him, and Rustler defense holds. And if you're Ramsey Al Sherman, you got to be careful. Can't jump on the pal like that. Now he gets in the face of one of the Southwestern players. Another timeout comes in with 1:36 to play. Rustlers can't afford any ill-advised penalties here. It's the last time the Rustlers can stop the clock. So 3rd and 11 coming up. Can't imagine they'll put this ball in the air. .136 left. The Rustlers, obviously, you got to get a stop here. And hope for a minimal gain. Take at least amount of time off as possible before the play clock resets. Same formation for Southwestern. Full house backfield. And they lose the ball. The ball's out. The ball is out. It's recovered by the Rustlers. Ryan Raines recovers the fumble. Are you kidding me? Just a mishap there on the snap, and the Rustlers take over 1st and 10, 1:32 to play, deep in Jaguar territory. Unreal.
This has been one of the best games I have ever seen from a single player, and that guy is named Ryan Raines.
What a night for Ryan Raines. Callbacher back to work, 1st and 10 from the 22 of Southwestern. No timeouts for the Rustlers. He has 4 wide. Callbacher stops, pops, caught at about the 18-yard line by Jonathan Earl. Rustlers got to hurry up and get on the ball. Clock does not stop there. Far from a first down. Pick up a 4. Callbacher on second down, looking end zone. Caught! Jonathan Earl! Touchdown, Rustlers! Bo Callbacher with a 17-yard touchdown strike to Jonathan Earl, and the Rustlers go back on top with 1:04 to play. Oh my goodness!
And that is pure will by Jonathan Earl as he goes one-on-one in the corner, and it looked like he went against, it was either Washington or it was Isaac Wright in that far right-hand corner, and he just rips the ball away from the defensive back on the floor. And you talked about it 2 weeks ago, Rahshaun. The tie goes to the receiver, the offensive player, and in this case, Jonathan Earl just willed that ball away, and now it's a touchdown, putting Golden West up by 3.
For Earl, it's his 2nd touchdown of the night, and the injured player is Trujillo. the corner there for Southwestern. They take them straight to the locker room.
There's also a flag on the far side of the field as well. They're going to wave it.
Arredondo in to attempt the point after. Kick is up, and it is good. Huge point after there for the Rustlers, because now that means the Jaguars have to get into the end zone. They can't tie this game with a field goal. There is a hurt Rustler down on the play after.
That's Jacob Beckler.
The point after attempt, that is Beckler. We talk about this offensive line that's been held together by rubber bands and masking tape. No Niamata tonight, and so Beckler had to slide back over to center. And gets hurt on that point after attempt. What an interesting turn of events. These last 3 minutes have been something else, Ryan Osborn.
I don't think I've seen a game swing this much since last December in that national championship game up north where Justin Manyweather ran one back from 56 yards out. But this has been one of the most exciting regular season games that you will ever see here on SportsNetUSA.net. I mean, it felt like all hope was lost for a second there for Golden West. It was a 3rd down and 9 to go. All Southwestern had to do was run one more play, run out the clock, and then just kick it away because it looked like the Golden West offense had nothing left in them. They had 2 straight drives where they just couldn't get anything done, and then all of a sudden it's that muffed snap that goes right past 2 different guys in the backfield and finally picked up by possible game MVP Ryan Raines.
Are you kidding me? Ryan Raines. What a night this young man is having. The fumble recovery that led to the possible game-winning touchdown drive. Also a blocked field goal tonight.
Forced fumble.
A forced fumble as well.
And 8 tackles to our knowledge.
Unreal. What a night for him as he's kind of thrusted into a new old position, if you will. But this Rustler team appeared to be dead in the water. And like you, I wasn't sure that Earl had that football. Because I heard screams. It sounded like we're closer to the Southwestern fans. So it sounded like the Southwestern fans were cheering, and all of a sudden I see Earl come out with that football.
And from our vantage point, it looked like Trujillo.
It looked like
had
Trujillo
the
had the football, but tie goes to the runner, and in this case, tie goes to the offense in football. And it's just not look good for the Rustlers. And I beg your pardon, that is not Jacob Beckler. They take the injured Rustler straight to the training room. So Trujillo just went there. Now they take the injured Rustler there. But that was not Beckler. Looked like that might have been Montez. It was certainly an offensive lineman. So here's Fisher to kick this one off. 1:04 left. And this one taken at the 8-yard line. And a nice run by Daniels across the 35 to the 36. 53 5/10 left. One timeout left for the Jaguars. Rustlers have none, as Southwestern needs to get in the end zone. Field goal does them no good here. And they start this drive 1st and 10 from their own 36. Hernandez Torres with 4 wide. Throws it, goes forward, picks it off. Interception for the Rustlers. Bo Birth hopes still alive. Ford had one last week that it appeared was taken from him, but this one of the biggest moments of the season for the Rustlers, no doubt about it. 6 holds on to it, and with 48 9/10, the Rustlers can take a couple of knees. Kalbacher under center. It's everybody's favorite formation, the victory formation. And a timeout, it looks like, going to be taken here by Ed Carberry and Southwestern, their final timeout of the game. And some pushing and shoving on that front line. It looks like that's
Logan
Darby, clearly frustrated, and you can see why. Frustration mounting here for this Southwestern team that had victory in its arms, in its grasp. An ill-advised snap leads to a Rustler touchdown late, and what appears to be the clinching touchdown as Kalbacher takes the snap and takes a knee.
He's going to have to get
He's going to have to take one more, as there's about a 3-second differential between game clock and play clock. What a night here, Ryan Osborn. Beautiful DeVore Stadium, the setting. Kalbacher under center, takes a snap, takes a knee. Time going to expire on this one, as the Rustlers going to pick up win number 4 of the season and keep their bowl berth hopes alive as they come down here to San Diego and pick up a 24-20 win over Southwestern to pull even now in Southern Conference play. What a night here for the Rustlers. Incredible turn of events here over the last couple of minutes. And Kalbacher with the clincher. 18-yard touchdown pass to Jonathan Earl. And the Rustlers going to get out of here with a 24-20 win. It's going to be a nice ride home up I-5, Ryan Osborn. We'll step aside. This one is gone final. Rustlers 24, Southwestern 20, as you're listening to and watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net. What a night here for the Rustlers. What you see on your screen is a very jubilant, victorious Golden West huddle here on the field at DeVore Stadium as the Rustlers they get it here tonight in heroic fashion.
And you talk about that, it gives them not only the momentum going into that game against Grossmont, but it gives them confidence, knowing that they beat a team in Southwestern who has been terrific all season long. I mean, Southwestern started off the season, winning 5 of their first 6 games, and yet Golden West comes in here to San Diego County and is able to come away with a victory here tonight. It's something that's huge for Golden West going into not only next week against Grossmont, but should they win against Grossmont, into a potential bowl berth.
Wasn't pretty. The offense turned the ball over 4 times. The last one was the one in which the first time all night that they allowed Southwestern to have points off turnovers. But the defense was able to hold. The defense was able to withstand this offensive attack from Southwestern. They held the Southwestern offensive teams with just 114 yards on the ground. This is a team that averages 143 on the ground throughout the course of the season, so they hold them below their average. Of course, you really weren't too concerned about the Southwestern passing game much coming into tonight, but the defense, they had a bitter taste in their mouth coming off that game last week against Saddleback. Gave up 500 yards. They come in here tonight, and they hold the Southwestern team to just 340. But most importantly, they contain the run, which was huge facing this team down here tonight. Some final numbers for you. Kalbacher, 233 through the air, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Dante Swain with 51 rush yards. Bo officially credited with 42 rush yards. Ben Ratzliff and Braylon Mouton and Jonathan Earl each have 4 catches apiece to lead the Rustlers here tonight. It was Ratzliff with 79 yards, the high man for the Rustlers with 1 touchdown. But Jonathan Earl, 2 touchdown receptions. And you can't help but to feel happy for the guy. I mean, he's been through a lot. He's had a case of the dropsies early in the season, but 2 touchdowns here tonight and the big game-winning clincher here at the end for the go-ahead score. You root for guys like that. You hope for these turnaround stories, and hopefully for Earl, this can be huge for him going forward.
Absolutely, and it's what you were talking about during the game. You go back to that Canyons game in which he had 1 drop that would have been a 45-yard touchdown pass, and then he had another drop in the 4th quarter that could have brought the game back to within 1 score. All of a sudden, he makes up for it here in this Southwestern game. And really, I think you also have to credit Bo Kalbacher. Both passes that he sent up to Jonathan Earl were absolutely perfect for Earl to get to. That first one on that far side corner that he was just able to float over top to Earl over the shoulder. And then this one right here that he left up in the corner to allow Earl to get to it. Now, Trujillo did have a touch on it, but Earl is able to wrestle it away. But you credit Bo Kalbacher, who looked good throughout the entire game.
And Ed Carberry said some interesting things when I spoke with him yesterday. He said that game that Bo had against Fullerton, going back to the very first game of the season, he said he absolutely got beat up. And that was one of the more heroic performances that he'd ever seen. And this is a guy that got 39 years in the game as a coach at many different levels. And he was just impressed with the way Kalbacher was able to be composed during that Fullerton game after getting tattooed by that Fullerton defense, and he hung in there tonight too. This is a team that really gets after the quarterback. This Southwestern team, they got after Bo here tonight. They got to him 4 times, 4 sacks for the Southwestern defensive front. We talked about them. They sacked the quarterback. They take the football away. This defense was pretty much just as good as advertised, but somehow, some way, Nick Mitchell and his bunch found a way to win this one here tonight in San Diego.
And when you talk about Bo Kalbacher in that game against Fullerton, anybody who goes up against Blake Heel and Asher Froh and that entire defensive line, Joey Noble, who is leading the SCFA for defensive lineman sacks, that entire core leads the country in defensive lineman sacks, and yet Bo Kalbacher stood in that pocket, took a beating, and still threw and kept Golden West in that football game. He has shown that he has the ability to lead Golden West to victories. It's just a matter of whether or not he's on the same page with his receivers. We saw in that first series that he was in tune with his wide receivers. Ben Ratzlaff with that huge gain. Jonathan Earl, he was there with him. Braylon Mouton in that first quarter. It was consistent chemistry with his wide receivers that really allowed Bo to get into a rhythm.
And Braylon Mouton, good to see him back in the lineup tonight. Well, we got to go before Ed Ford gives us a call and tells us he's pulling the plug on this broadcast. Huge win here tonight for the Rustlers as they keep their bowl berth hopes alive. Next week, going to be a huge one. We'll be right back down here in San Diego, 1 p.m. kickoff as this Golden West Rustler team takes on Grossmont. So, special thanks to Ed Carberry and all the fine folks here at Southwestern for their hospitality and setting us up here. Of course, Nick Mitchell, as always, for his kindness, his patience. Ryan Osborn doing double duty here tonight on camera and also providing the spectacular analysts for you here tonight. And also special thanks to all of you at home for watching. Ed Ford is our operations manager here at SportsNetUSA.net. So for all of us, I'm Rahshaun Haylock saying good night from Chula Vista, where Golden West, with a huge come-from-behind 24-20 win, keeps their bowl berth hopes alive with this win over Southwestern, improves to 4-5, 2-2 in Southern Conference play. With the loss, the Jaguars fall to 5-4, 1-3 in conference play. Don't forget, we'll be right back here, 1 p.m. kickoff. That's 1 p.m. from Grossmont. We'll have it for you right here on SportsNetUSA.net. You've been watching Golden West Rustler football on SportsNetUSA.net. Good night from San Diego.